Good day. Welcome to News Express. I'm Chidera Esum. Now, let's turn our attention to Nigeria, where political tensions are steadily rising and the contours of the 2027 presidential election are already beginning to take shape. What started as a routine media interview has now escalated into a sharp and revealing exchange between key political actors, exposing deeper questions about leadership, credibility, and the future direction of Africa's largest democracy. At the heart of this unfolding narrative are former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, President Bola Tinubu, and a once close ally turned critic, Bwala. This is not merely a disagreement between politicians. It is an early signal of a much larger political contest that is gradually gaining momentum. The rhetoric is sharpening, the positions are hardening, and the strategies are becoming clearer with each passing day. As the country watches, one thing is evident. The battle for 2027 has begun long before the official campaign season. The controversy began with a bold and unequivocal statement from Atiku Abubakar during an interview on Arise television. Speaking with confidence and a sense of urgency, Atiku asserted that President Tinubu would not stand a chance against a united opposition. According to him, the formation of a coalition that brings together various opposition forces will be enough to decisively unseat the current administration. His words were not measured or cautious. Instead, they were direct and provocative, declaring that with a coalition candidate, the president will be politically finished before the contest even begins. Atiku did not stop at electoral predictions. He extended his critique to the performance of the current administration, particularly focusing on the economy. In his assessment, the government has failed to meet expectations and has delivered disappointing results across the key sectors. He expressed frustration with what he described as poor governance, emphasizing the economic direction of the country under President Tinubu has not inspired confidence. For Atiku, this is not just about political rivalry, but about what he views as a failure of leadership that must be corrected. Such statements are significant because they are coming from a figure with deep political experience and a long history in Nigeria's power structure. Atiku is not an outsider commenting from the margins. He has contested for the presidency multiple times and retains influence within opposition cycles. When he speaks about coalition and electoral strategy, it is not theoretical. It reflects ongoing conversations and possible alignments behind the scenes. However, his remarks quickly drew a strong and pointed response from Bwala, who currently serves as special advisor to the president on policy communication. What makes this exchange particularly compelling is the personal and political history between the two men. Bwala was once a spokesperson for Atiku, standing alongside him and defending his positions. Today, he finds himself on the opposite side, using that same familiarity to challenge his former principal's claims. Bwala's response came via social media, but its impact was far from casual, with a tone that blended sarcasm and political calculation. He dismissed Atiku's assertion about a coalition victory. He suggested that Atiku himself would likely be the coalition candidate, thereby shifting the focus from the idea of unity to the question of individual electability. This reframing is crucial because it challenges not just the strategy, but the candidates at the center of it. Drawing on the outcome of the 2023 presidential election, Bwala argued that Atiku had already been tested and found wanting. He pointed out that during that election, Atiku had the backings of governors, access to established political structures, and the advantages that come with being a major party candidate. Despite these factors, he was unable to secure victory. For Bwala, this is not just a past event, but a decisive piece of evidence that undermines Atiku's current argument. The implication of Bwala's argument is clear and forceful. If a candidate could not win with strong institutional support, it becomes difficult to believe that a coalition composed of diverse and potentially divided interests would deliver a different outcome. In his view, the strength of President Tinubu lies not only in incumbency, but also in the political structures that support him across states and regions. These structures, he suggests, are already aligned and operational, giving the president a significant advantage. Bwala went further to question the very foundation of the proposed coalition. He described it as a gathering of aggrieved leaders who lack firm political basis, implying that their influence may not translate into tangible electoral strength. This characterization intended to cast doubt on the viability of the coalition strategy, portraying it as more of a reaction to political frustration than a coherent plan for governance. At the core of this exchange lies a fundamental debate about how elections are won in Nigeria. Atiku's position emphasizes unity among opposition forces as the key to victory. The logic is that by consolidating votes and avoiding fragmentation, the opposition can present a formidable challenge to the ruling party. This approach has been used in various political contexts around the world, sometimes with success and sometimes with limited results. On the other hand, Bwala's argument centers on the importance of political structures and organization. In the Nigerian context, this includes control over state-level machinery, grassroots networks, party loyalists, and the ability to mobilize voters effectively. According to this perspective, elections are not won solely through alliances at the top, but through sustained and coordinated efforts across multiple levels of the political system. This tension between unity and structure is likely to define the political discourse in the coming years. Building a coalition is not a simple task. It requires negotiation, compromise, and the ability to manage competing ambitions. Different parties and leaders bring their own priorities and expectations, which can make consensus difficult to achieve, even when a coalition is formed. Maintaining cohesion throughout a campaign can be a significant challenge. The 2023 election provides important context for understanding these debates. It was a highly competitive contest with multiple strong candidates and a politically engaged electorate. The results reflected a complex interplay of factors, including regional dynamics, party loyalty, and voter sentiment. President Tinubu's victory demonstrated the effectiveness of his campaign strategy and the strength of his political network. For Atiku, the lessons of that election appear to reinforce the need for greater unity among opposition forces. For Bwala and others aligned with the current administration, The same election served as proof that the existing political order has resilience and depth. These differing interpretations highlight how the same set of facts can be used to support contrasting narratives. Beyond strategy and electoral calculations, there is also the question of governance. Atiku's criticism of the economy is part of a broader effort to shape public perception of the current administration. Economic performance is often a decisive factor in elections, as it directly affects the daily lives of citizens. By focusing on this issue, Atiku is attempting to position himself as an alternative who can offer better outcomes. However, criticism alone does not guarantee political success. It must be accompanied by a credible plan and the ability to convince voters that change is both necessary and achievable. This is where the challenge lies for any opposition figure. It is not enough to highlight weaknesses in the current system. There must also be a compelling vision for what comes next. At the same time, the Tinubu administration is likely to defend its record and emphasize its achievements. Incumbency comes with both advantages and responsibilities, while it provides access to resources and visibility. It also subjects the government to scrutiny and expectations. How effectively the administration communicates its policies and addresses public concerns will play a crucial role in shaping the political landscape. Another layer to this story is the evolving relationship between political actors. The transition of Bwala from Atiku's camp to the Tinubu's administration illustrates the fluid nature of political alliance. Such shifts are not uncommon, but they add complexity to the narrative. They also raise questions about loyalty, strategy, and the factors that drive political decisions. As Nigeria moves closer to 2027, these dynamics will continue to evolve. New alliances may form, existing ones may fracture, and unexpected players may emerge. The political environment is rarely static, and the coming years are likely to bring further development than reshape the current landscape. For now, what we are witnessing is the early stage of a larger contest. The exchange between Atiku and Bwala is more than a moment of political sparring. It is a glimpse into the arguments, strategies, and narratives that will dominate the conversation in the years ahead. It reflects the competing visions for Nigeria's future and the different paths that its leaders believe the country should take. Ultimately, the outcome of this unfolding story will depend on the choices of the Nigerian people. Elections are not decided by statements or social media posts alone. They are shaped by voter engagement, public trust, and the ability of candidates to connect with the aspiration of the electorate. As the political temperature rises, one thing is certain: the road to 2027 will be closely watched, intensely debated, and fiercely contested. Nigeria stands at the beginning of another significant chapter in its democratic journey, and the decisions made in the coming years will have lasting implications for the nation. That's all for now on News Express. Keep the conversation going. Like, share, subscribe, and let your voice be heard in the comment section. I'm Chidera Eso. Thank you for watching. Do have a beautiful day.